Coming up tonight on News Watch, fire tears through a township hall in Macon County. We'll have an update on the investigation.
Plus, state leaders aim to keep people safe around e-bikes. We'll outline those plans. Scott?
We've had some very cold starts this week, but eventually that will change, affecting your weather picture overall. This is News Watch. Your Friday evening edition is next.
Alamo Steakhouse and Saloon. Whatever the occasion, it's an environment for an evening of dining, conversation, and cocktails. Whatever your needs, our staff is ready. Alamo Steakhouse and Saloon, located at the Cross County Mall, Mattoon.
The Charleston House proudly supports Newswatch. Now welcoming guests on Charleston's historic 6th Street, the Charleston House Bed and Breakfast Inn offers refined accommodations in a beautifully restored bed and breakfast. For booking information, visit craigcollection.com or call the number on screen.
TCI Realty, Charleston area's real estate connection. Commercial, land and farm, and residential real estate. Experienced realtors with an up-to-date website at tcirealty.net. TCI Realty supports the students of WEIU Newswatch.
Flames ripped through a township building in Macon County, and that's our top story. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Andrew Spade.
And I'm Olivia Bennett. The State Fire Marshal's office is investigating a fire that tore through the Harristown Township building in Macon County yesterday. The Harristown Fire Protection District says dispatchers received calls about visible explosions and heavy black smoke at the building around 5 yesterday evening. When the fire chief arrived, he reported finding the building heavily involved in fire and smoke. Ultimately, 5 departments responded to the fire and had it under control in 2 hours, despite bitter temperatures and ice. The Fire Protection District says no one was hurt.
Champaign County leaders are considering a moratorium on big data centers in the county. That moratorium would affect centers with more than 10,000 square feet of processing area. Those centers have drawn concern because they can use large amounts of water and energy and can occupy hundreds of acres of land. The county's Board Environment and Land Use Committee discussed the matter last night and advanced a plan to create a task force to consider the moratorium. A Sangamon County police chief is facing charges after an overnight arrest. Illinois State Police say the police chief of Leland Grove was placed on administrative leave after being arrested early Thursday on charges of driving under the influence and domestic battery. They say 53-year-old Daniel Ryan was taken into custody after a call in Springfield and is being held in Sangamon County Jail. The city of Leland Grove says the case is under investigation and his first appearance on the DUI charge is set for March 11th.
Good evening. The Winter Olympics coming up this evening. You know how they have some false starts from time to time? Well, we had a false start this morning. Our temperatures started out like gangbusters. Everything was above average. Things were moving along nicely. And then an intervention from the northwest, cold air coming down from Canada, and we stalled right here. And with these temperatures, we were 42 in Effingham and 40 in Taylorville and got no higher. Consequently, no snow melt going on today at Eastern Illinois University or elsewhere because our temperatures combined with our winds really were not enough to do the trick. Our current temperatures, we're down to 37 in Effingham, and generally temperatures fairly uniform. And with our wind chills right now, with those winds, 27 is the feels like temperature. Now back to the news desk.
Thanks for that update, Scott. In other news tonight, Illinois health officials are taking steps to adopt the 2026 immunization schedule from the American Academy of Pediatrics. That comes after changes to federal vaccine guidance. The Illinois Department of Public Health says the schedule is based on strong scientific evidence and gives clear guidance for families and healthcare providers. State leaders say the move helps keep children and communities protected, even as some federal vaccine guidance is changing. Officials add that Illinois vaccine recommendations remain the same as before and that recommended vaccines are covered by insurance, Medicaid, and Vaccines for Children program. State leaders are also stepping up efforts to improve safety around e-bikes. This week, Secretary of State Alexi Janulius announced a new Ride Safe, Ride Smart, Ride Ready initiative. The initiative includes a push for new state regulations on high-speed e-bikes that can travel more than 28 miles an hour and are largely unregulated. Research from Columbia University found e-bike injuries nearly tripled nationwide between 2019 and 2022.
We've always taken care of kids who fall off their bike or fall off a scooter. But generally, they're kind of softer injuries. They may fall on an outstretched hand and have a simple wrist fracture. But that is clearly not what we've been seeing when we have our patients that come in that have had injuries falling off e-bikes and e-scooters. The problem is that the vehicles travel so much faster that the impact is just going to be greater when you hit the ground.
The plan also calls for updates to driver education in the state and public awareness campaigns. Local linemen are having an impact across the country. Coles Moultrie Electric Cooperative recently dispatched a group of linemen to Mississippi to help power crews in areas still reeling from a crippling winter storm. Thousands in the state still remain without power, with temperatures still dropping below freezing at night. This is the second wave of linemen sent in south to pitch in. Another Coles Moultrie crew just returned from Kentucky, which was also hit by winter weather.
There's a party tomorrow for President Abraham Lincoln's birthday, and you're invited. The Vandalia State House State Historic Site is celebrating Lincoln's birthday with a free public event Saturday afternoon from 2 to 4. The event takes place in the House of Representatives chamber where Lincoln served before becoming president. The program features renowned Lincoln lookalike Fritz Klein, who has portrayed the president in documentaries featured on major TV networks. Refreshments will be served at the celebration, which, of course, includes birthday cake. Local runners have a chance to celebrate sometime outdoors. The annual Charleston Challenge Midwinter Classic is tomorrow. The race is set to begin at Carl Sandburg Elementary and is separated between 5K, 10K, and 15K races. Runs take place on city streets and county roads, and runners must follow course markings due to limited volunteers. Awards are given to the first and second place winners of each race. Tourism and Special Events Supervisor Lori Henderson says the race means more to the runners because it happens this time of year.
But the last couple of years, we've had really good participation. This race is popular because it is in the wintertime, and runners like that challenge. They like bad weather, amazingly. I'm not a runner, so I can't speak to that. But they love the options to have a 5K, 10K, or 15K. They like the elevation that we have in Charleston, particularly southwest of Charleston.
Henderson says most runners travel from out of town to experience the event and to prepare for the Illinois Classic Marathon. Local runners can still enter the race tomorrow after paying a $50 registration fee. The race is set to begin at 8:30 tomorrow morning.
Good evening. Welcome back to weather. We start out with the nation's temperatures to the moment. In California, they had temperatures in the 90s earlier this week. Things are becoming more moderate. The hot spot right now, Houston, Texas. And here in Illinois, we have actually polar air, which is coming down from the North Pole, believe it or not. And looking at the weather picture as far as our radar, we are not expecting any precipitation here for the next week. Not at this point, but there is plenty of precipitation to the east. Overnight tonight here on campus, lows near 16 degrees, partly cloudy, breezy with gusts of up to 30 miles an hour. And again, those winds are from the north. Wind chill values right before sunrise, pretty much in the single digits for most folks. And you know, this is a time of year when we do experience more sunlight. Our sunrise a minute earlier each day. This is tomorrow's sunrise. Sunset tomorrow night at 5:20 p.m. But that's not helping us greatly. Here's your forecast for tomorrow, including for the Charleston Challenge. I ran that once in a snowstorm in 2011. 18 degrees your temperature near race time. Our temperatures will move up, but they'll be stunted again. Our high temperatures near 30 degrees. And yes, that is cold. It's about 10 degrees below normal for this time of year. But here is what is going to happen, something many of you have been looking forward to. We're going to play this for you in 4-part harmony. This is Friday's jet stream. This is today. You can see the cold air coming down from Canada, and you see the blue and the green, the colder temperatures coming right on into Illinois. We go to Saturday. The colors start to change a little bit, representing more moderate temperatures. Late Saturday, more moderation, and then Sunday, well, the entire state of Illinois starts to warm up. That is actually Sunday night. Looking ahead to your forecast now, covering Sunday and Monday, the warm-up actually begins in the late evening hours, so we're only going to see a high of 38 degrees during the afternoon on Super Bowl Sunday. Meanwhile, 60s for that outdoor game in Santa Clara, California. But Monday, the full effect of what is happening with our atmosphere, high temperatures in the lower 50s. Looking at the big picture, well, the biggest difference is, I wish we could show you last week's temperatures, but just imagine all those single-digit temperatures on the bottom. That is just not happening this coming week. Things are improving. We're getting off to a much better start each day, which means we'll top out much higher, and across the board, our temperatures will be above average for this time of year. That's something we haven't experienced since January 22nd. That's the last time we had a high temperature above average for our viewing area. And looking ahead just a little bit more, and folks, Valentine's Day is coming up on Saturday, February 14th, and this is a short month. So we are expecting those above average temperatures to continue, and I know you've been looking forward to that.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Scott. It's nice to see temperatures right around 60 because we've been really wishing for that.
You guys know that I have a problem with cold weather, so I'm excited. Thanks, Scott. Still to come, Super Bowl Sunday is inching closer.
That's right, and we're getting a taste of what Central Illinois expects for the big game. Thanks for watching. This is News Watch on WEIU. With Super Bowl 60 less than 2 days away, many people are getting ready for watch parties. News Watch's Pierce Lehman talked to students on the campus of Eastern Illinois University to learn more about how the fans like to turn up the heat.
Super Bowl 60 in Santa Clara is this Sunday, and here in Central Illinois, anticipation is in the air.
I am excited this weekend to watch it.
Whether you're watching your first game of the year,
I don't watch a lot of professional games,
or you've been gearing up since September.
I've been watching football as a kid, so I've always watched it.
Everyone is getting ready for the big game. It all comes down to the Seahawks and the Patriots.
Sends New England to the Super Bowl.
And when I ask who the lucky team will be,
I think the Seahawks should be able to shut them down.
The Seahawks beat the Patriots this weekend.
I got my money on the Seahawks.
I think Seattle is going to win the Super Bowl.
I think the Seahawks by a good margin.
It didn't look good for New England. This is how people in Charleston plan to celebrate.
I'm going to be just hanging out with some friends and just make sure that we all have a good time watching that Super Bowl game.
We'll have a few people from the department over. We usually have a Super Bowl watch party, and we'll get together and watch the game on Sunday.
And whoever's on the field, traditions and memories remain.
I'd watch it with my dad a lot. We would make food, like just basic like wings, meatballs, basic Super Bowl food. Watching the biggest game of the year for football is definitely a bonding thing I can have with my dad, considering we both played the sport and I grew up in the same way.
In Charleston, I'm Pierce Lehman for WEIU Newswatch.
And a fun side note to this story, we asked our WEIU staff who they think will win. A whopping 71% went with the Seahawks, but a hopeful 29% still have faith in the Patriots. Let's check in now with Austin Perez, who has more news from the sports world. Good evening, Austin.
Good evening, Andrew. Locals have made their voices heard, and we will have more on the big game later. But first, can Keaton Wagler and the red-hot Fighting Illini stay hot for another weekend against a ranked opponent? We'll have more when we come back. Thanks for watching. Your WEIU Sports Watch report is coming up next.
Hi, I'm Everett Lau, an Eastern Illinois University graduate from the class of 2021. As an Edgar County farm kid, I grew up with a childhood dream of becoming a broadcast meteorologist. I spent a lot of time in the WEIU studio during my 4 years in college, and that's how I got to this studio, WTHI TV in Terre Haute, Indiana. WEIU prepared me for long nights of tracking thunderstorms, fine-tuning details of approaching winter storms, and how to be a broadcaster in general, whether it was weather, news, or even sports. I needed WEIU to achieve my dream, and now WEIU needs me and you to help carry out its mission of setting up students for success. Please consider making a financial gift to support WEIU so the station and its dedicated staff can continue operating this outstanding training ground for aspiring broadcasters, journalists, and scientists. Your gift can allow local students like me provide local programming for our local communities. Learn more at weiu.net or by calling the station. Thanks for watching.
On the road in Nashville, the EIU men's and women's basketball team try to get back on track against Tennessee State. The men's team started off strong with a 10-0 run midway through the first half, but went into the locker room trailing by 3. The Tigers would end up pulling away in the second half, snatching a 77-68 victory over the Panthers. As for the women's team, they held off a late charge by the Lady Tigers, winning 65-60 for their first OVC road win of the season. Miyoshi Mason led the team with an 11-point, 13-rebound double-double, her second double-double of the season. Both teams are back in action tomorrow at Tennessee Tech, with the women's game starting at 1 and the men's game tipping off at 3. Moving to the Big Ten, the big road tests keep on coming for one of the hottest teams in the nation. University of Illinois men's basketball gets ready to take on 10th-ranked Michigan State in yet another heated road test for the Illini. Saturday night's matchup will be the Orange and Blues' third consecutive weekend facing a top-ranked conference opponent. Michigan State hopes to get a big win after losing their last 2 matchups against in-state rival Michigan and Minnesota. With a win, Illinois would make it 13 straight wins since their December 13th loss to Nebraska. Tip-off tomorrow night will be set for 7 p.m. And let's take a look at some high school basketball action happening over the weekend. The Charleston Trojans will be on the road tomorrow at 3 against Deer Creek Mackinac. As for the Mattoon Green Wave, they'll be back at home tomorrow for their final non-conference game of the year, this one against Mount Vernon. The number 3 ranked team in Class 2A, Teutopolis, will travel to Effingham to play the St. Anthony Bulldogs tonight. And finally, KZ Westfield will be playing Mount Carmel at home tonight at 6. It has been a couple days since the Chicago Bulls cleared shop and made several trades to try to secure a better future for the team. Can they bounce back from all the trades and beat the Toronto Raptors on the road with a new-look squad? It's not looking too hot for the Windy City as Brandon Ingram goes off from far out, sinking this 3 to set the tone early on. With a couple minutes left in the quarter, newly acquired Jaden Ivey starts off strong, giving the Bulls some hope with a slick finish from beyond the arc. Ivey's presence isn't just felt in shooting, he's crucial in passing as well, kicking it out to another new Bull, Anthony Simons, who scores 3 of his 22 points in his Bulls debut. And back in the spotlight for the Six is Brandon Ingram, who shows he's just as deadly in the paint with his double hand slam to cap off a 123-107 W. The Bulls now ride a 3-game losing streak, but they'll get another shot hosting Denver tomorrow at 7 p.m. With Super Bowl 60 just around the corner, the NFL held its annual honor ceremony last night in San Francisco, and a new most valuable player has been crowned. Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford entered the season with doubts on if he'd even play after dealing with a herniated disc in his back all preseason. But not only did the 37-year-old Stafford play, he dominated, taking home his first career MVP in his 17th professional season. One local market also earned some major hardware. Bears guard Joe Thuney took home the inaugural Protector of the Year award, honoring the league's best offensive lineman. Chicago also took home the Moment of the Year award thanks to the game-winning Week 16 touchdown pass from Caleb Williams to DJ Moore, helping them take down the Green Bay Packers in overtime. and everyone at the studio was talking about that for weeks after. But this season in the NFL, we witnessed the Bears revive their franchise, the Colts brought back Grandpa Rivers, and two teams outlast all the rest to make it to Super Bowl 60. The Seattle Seahawks and the New England Patriots duke it out. It's the first matchup between two teams that failed to make the playoffs the year prior since 2002. The Seahawks revolutionized their offense this year after signing former Vikings quarterback Sam Darnold last offseason. Darnold became the first quarterback since Hall of Famer Brett Favre to win 14 games in consecutive seasons. Leading the Patriots in the battle is second-year quarterback Drake May, who finished second in MVP voting behind Matthew Stafford. New England head coach Mike Vrabel won Coach of the Year after he led the Patriots to a 14-win season, 1 year removed from winning just 4 games. The big game kicks off Sunday at 5:30, and Sports Watch will have a full coverage on Monday. The Super Bowl may be the biggest sporting event in the United States, but the biggest sporting event in the world has officially begun. The 2026 Winter Olympic Games in Italy are underway and include 2,800 athletes with 116 events. The opening ceremony took place earlier today, though the Games officially started 2 days ago. There will be 2 Olympic cauldrons for the first time ever, one in Milan and the other in Cortina d'Ampezzo. Speed skater Aaron Jackson and bobsledder Frank Del Duca are the flag bearers for the Team USA. Key events this weekend include figure skating, hockey, snowboarding, curling, and skiing. And finally tonight, another big event as we swing into the Super Bowl, the WM Phoenix Open is nearing the halfway point with some of the game's best at the top of the leaderboard. Remember the name, Ryo Hisatsune, the rising star from Japan, is on a heater and holds the lead at 11 under par. 2021 Masters champion and fellow countryman Hideki Matsuyama is just 1 shot back at 10 under par, and he's joined at that mark by round 1 leader Chris Gotterup. And finally, world number 1 Scottie Scheffler is on the move after a brutal first round yesterday. He's jumped to 2 under par and will make the cut. That wraps up tonight's Sports Watch report. Andrew, Olivia, back to you.
Thanks, Austin. Still to come, Scott Ely gives us a final look at a pleasant weekend forecast.
But first, we head to Minnesota for a very punny parting story. Thanks for watching. This is Newswatch on WEIU.
A big honor for Bill Nye. The Emmy-winning science guy will receive a Lifetime Achievement Award at the 4th Annual Children's and Family Emmy Awards. He'll be honored at a ceremony in New York on March 1st. New music from Rita Wilson. Sound of a Woman, which she co-wrote, is the performer's latest single and the title track of Wilson's next album, due out May 1st. Time Hoppers, The Silk Road sends 4 gifted kids back to the golden age of Islam to meet Muslim thinkers who changed the world. Its producers call it the first Muslim animated film to get a nationwide U.S. theatrical release. Time Hoppers, The Silk Road opens Saturday. Locations and showtimes at fathomentertainment.com. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Finally tonight, voting is underway in a high-stakes contest. We're talking, of course, about the Name a Snowplow contest put on by the Minnesota Department of Transportation. It's the 6th year for the contest, and this time more than 6,700 names were submitted, then whittled down to 30. Those finalists include Every Day I'm Shoveling, Sled Zeppelin, and for the kids, Six Sleddin'. In the end, 8 names will be chosen, 1 for each of the state's transportation districts. Voting runs through February 13th. Well, you know, it sounds like Mother Nature may help clear out some of our snow back at home. I'm glad. We now check in with Scott Ely for a final look at the weekend's forecast.
Well, you know, from the looks of the screen, we're going to have to wait maybe 36 hours before our above average temperatures kick in for the first time since January 22nd. Look at those high numbers, but also we get off to better starts each morning next week, pretty much Monday through Friday. So finally, the weather is turning in the positive way that we all want.
Yeah, maybe some of that snow will finally melt, and maybe everybody can have a safe Super Bowl weekend, and we'll see some of that snow melt, and road conditions should be fine. You shouldn't have to worry about that.
I hope so. I hope so.
Thank you, Scott, and that's all the time we have for tonight's edition of News Watch.
Of course, for more news and weather, be sure to log on to our website at WEIU.net.
And if news is happening in your community, let us know by dropping us an email at news@weiu.net.
Have a great night and enjoy Super Bowl weekend. Go Patriots.
Go Patriots.
Steakhouse and Saloon. Whatever the occasion, it's an environment for an evening of dining, conversation, and cocktails. Whatever your needs, our staff is ready. Alamo Steakhouse and Saloon, located at the Cross County Mall, Mattoon.
The Charleston House proudly supports Newswatch. Now welcoming guests on Charleston's historic 6th Street, the Charleston House Bed and Breakfast Inn offers refined accommodations in a beautifully restored bed and breakfast. For booking information, visit craigcollection.com or call the number on screen.
TCI Realty, Charleston area's real estate connection. Commercial, land and farm, and residential real estate. Experienced realtors with an up-to-date website at tcirealty.net. TCI Realty supports the students of WEIU Newswatch.